I was at Grandma's yesterday and I read a book on bumblebees in her library. Did you know? Bees are covered in an oil that makes them waterproof. Bumblebees are large, fuzzy, black and yellow social bees. A bumblebee weighs between 150 and 200 milligrams. They are larger than honeybees. They live in smaller groups than honeybees, though, and they do not tend to swarm. A group of bumblebees is called a colony. Colonies can contain between 50 and 500 individuals. The mother of the whole colony is called the queen. After waking from hibernation, the queen finds food and looks for a good location for a nest. Once the nest is found, she lays her eggs and stores up food for herself and the babies or larvae. Bumblebees usually build their nests close to the ground under piles of wood or dead leaves and compost piles. They will even build a nest below ground in abandoned rodent tunnels. A nest is found by a single queen who lives for 1 year. This nest is active for 1 season. Healthy, fertile queens can lay eggs constantly without a break. A queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs in a single day. The other bees in the colony serve her. They also gather food or care for developing larvae. Colonies that are well supplied with honey and pollen in the fall will begin to feed the queen. She begins egg-laying during late December or early January. The queen sits on the eggs for about 2 weeks to keep them warm. The queen shivers to warm the eggs and keep them toasty. When the eggs hatch, the queen feeds pollen to the baby bees, called larvae. By 2 weeks later, the larvae spin cocoons around themselves and stay there until they develop into adult bees. The queen only takes care of the first batch of babies. The first batch grows into worker bees that will clean and guard the nest. They also find food and take care of the next batch of baby bees. The queen is left to do nothing but lay and hatch new eggs. Eggs hatch into larvae about 3 days after being laid. Nurse bees will select 10 to 20 newly hatched female larvae and begin feeding them a strict diet of royal jelly. Royal jelly is a milky white substance that bees secrete on the tops of their heads. An exclusive diet of royal jelly turns on the female larva's ability to make babies and turns her into a queen. Bees born in late summer are male bees called drones and future queen bees. Both leave the nest as soon as they are mature. The males from other nests mate with future queens and then die. After mating, the future queens fatten themselves up and hibernate throughout the winter. If a queen bee is killed, the worker bees try to raise a new queen by feeding select larvae royal jelly. The first future queen that hatches kills her rivals and mates with drones to continue the colony. If a new queen cannot be raised, the colony will lose their population and die out. During the late fall, the entire colony dies, except for the queen. She hibernates during the winter months underground and starts a new colony in the spring. Only new queen bumblebees hibernate and make it until spring. Their pair bodies work slower than the other bees in the colony, and they live longer. Worker bumblebees have relatively short lives. 4 weeks is their average lifespan. They feed the honey to the queen and the developing brood. At the end of the season, only the new queens will live to establish new colonies the following year. There are over 255 species of bumblebees, and there are 50 species of bumblebees in North America. Bombus dahilbaumiae is a species of bumblebee that lives in the southern South American temperate forests. It is one of the largest bee species in the world. Matured queens of this kind can grow up to 1.6 inches long. This is 3 to 4 times longer than the American bumblebee. These American bumblebees average about 1.5 to 2.5 centimeters or 1/6 of an inch to 1 inch long. Bumblebees are similar to honeybees, however, bumblebees do not produce honey. Honeybees collect honey to survive through the winter, but bumblebees don't need to prepare for the cold because they die in the fall. Bumblebees do collect and eat sugary nectar to gain energy, but they always consume it before they have a chance to convert it into honey. Pollen provides them with protein. Bumblebees can live in a wide range of climates, but they still need to raise their internal temperature in order to take flight. This is why you may notice queens or workers on the ground in the colder months in early spring. The Arctic bumblebee is found in the northern regions of Alaska, Canada, northern Scandinavia, and Russia. These bees have to work a lot harder to raise their temperatures because of the colder climate. Sometimes to warm up, these bees sit inside of flowers shaped like cones where the sun's rays can be felt easier. And to warm themselves faster, these bees shiver their large flight muscles, getting their temperatures up to a minimum of 86 degrees Fahrenheit for them to be able to fly. Bees heat and cool their own hive to keep it between 93 and 95 degrees year-round. Bumblebees rarely sting. They are not aggressive toward humans and typically only sting if someone bothers them first. So if you don't want to be stung, don't swing your arms or kick at them because that makes them get aggressive. Bumblebees will not die if they use their stinger, but honeybees will. Bees can fly up to 12 miles per hour. Bumblebees are able to fly in cooler temperatures and at lower light levels than many other bees. That ability, combined with their large size, is how bees do something called buzz pollination. A bumblebee does buzz pollination by grabbing the pollen from a flower in her jaws while vibrating her wing muscles. The vibration of the bumblebee's wings causes a flower to release its pollen. Pollen is a substance that helps plants produce more fruit. A bumblebee's wings beat up to 200 times per second, faster than the human eye can detect, and it flaps its wings back and forth rather than up and down. Bumblebees harvest nectar and pollen from flowering plants. While they do this, they scent mark the flowers they have visited. Bumblebees can sense the chemicals that are in the plants they feel are the most nutritious for them. That helps them choose the best plants to visit and gather food from for their diets. Bumblebee eyes are larger than honeybee eyes, and they don't have little hairs on the surface of their eyes as honeybees do. Bees have a complex eye system that helps them know where they're going. They see colors, shapes, and ultraviolet light wave markings on flowers. This is why bumblebees have 5 eyes. They have 2 main ones with about 6,000 sides or facets the way a cut diamond looks. Then they have 3 smaller eyes on the top of their head. Their small eyes sit close to each other but give the bee different perspectives. A species called cuckoo bumblebees sneak into other colonies to lay their eggs. Sometimes cuckoo bumblebees lose their social ability to produce workers over time. So they must rely on established hives to do the work for them. There are other species of bees I want to learn more about too, like the carpenter bee, the honey bee, and the stingless bee. But right now, it's well past my bedtime. Night-night, furry pollinator of flower blossoms. Your buzz keeps our gardens growing. Sleep tight.